Hey friends, welcome to Moxie Gardens. I'm Mike Toomey, and today we're gonna get started on the creek. Actually, we're just gonna continue the creek from yesterday. You can see my breath right now. I can see my breath right now. So we're supposed to be in the 60s, mid 60s today, but we do have rain chances coming in tomorrow and then for like the next 10-day forecast. So we're gonna get started in here. I'm hoping to capitalize as much as possible because we have clay soil, and since I went to sleep last night, woke up, that's already started to fill in with some moisture. Let's have a look. Okay, like I was talking about, you can already see the moisture starting to come in. Clay soil is really good for holding minerals and really good for everything in our garden. If you dig a hole though, and you're not familiar with clay soil, you dig a hole, the moisture will find its way into that hole. And so we've already started that process. If I was to leave this another day, the base, because we just had about an inch last week, all the moisture would probably be in here and you'd be able to see, just like you could see right there. Okay, moving right along, we're going to put a layer down of black felt so that I can lay down my liner. And then I've got to dig out just a little bit more. If you missed yesterday's video, it's just about an 8-9 minute video. You can feel free to kind of jump in there and check it out to get yourself caught up. But right here, this is where the bridge is. So we're gonna bring that water out to right here. So what happens is all these homes that are right around here, all the water comes off the roofs and bleeds into this yard. And this was a pathway because it's the lowest part in our garden. So pond, creek, now this is going to be another creek. So I still have to keep this low enough that the water can still continue. Otherwise the garden's going to flood. And then the water will come out through here, around through a little canal that I've got dug out all the way around there. I know if you're just tuning in right now, there's a lot of hardscape and it looks like a mismatch of this and that, but I promise it'll eventually blend in. So feel free to go and look at old videos if you're just tuning in. But man, we're about to give this some excitement, and then I want to capture and bring over that same look into this. I took out those boxwoods largely because of the aphids. We have such humid and hot, still months during the hot season that this is like a haven for any kind of insects and aphids and that type of stuff in the garden. So it's hard to stay on top of those things. But so they really came in after the boxwoods, and haven't had any problems with any of these or any of those. But this run right here, they were all different. This run right here are sprinter boxwoods. So I really wanted to just kind of take those out. Plus, when they flop over, anytime we get moisture, they flop over. I talked about this yesterday. They flop over. So it just wasn't good for the garden. Plus, it was a really formal look right through here, and I like that look versus a formal look. So hey and I are going to get started on what we've got planned for today. So wish us luck. Feel free to follow us along our little journey and the process that it takes to go into here and transform this area. Okay, I have the pre-layer down. So we'll put another layer on top of this. This just protects the next liner that will actually hold the water. So if you're wondering, hey, how do you get 2 spots in the water? No, this is just simply to protect it from any rocks, roots, tough edges on some dirt clods, that type of thing. And then this pipe runs off of the house, so it will always fill it up with some fresh rainwater whenever we need. And then right there, it won't matter so much because the water, gravity is going to take the water this way. You can't tell in the video, but that's our high point up there, and so it just always coming down, so the water will never backflow unless of course we have the monsoons that have it. Okay, that layer's done. Now I'll go get the next layer and then we'll add rock. Okay, so pretty much done. I know it probably just kind of stands out like a sore thumb because I don't have anything else around it, but that's part of the process. If you can imagine, we'll do some greenery through here. I'll walk over with what we're gonna do, but we'll do some junipers through here. And then over here, I'm gonna do a rhododendron. I think the road will look really good right there because it normally keeps its leaves during the winter months. So this area won't be so harsh with hardscape right through there. That's a fire pit, of course, a planter, our hot tub. And then right here is our pallet wall, and that is honeysuckle that flows over it. So all those license plates over there are typically from states or islands that we go to, and we just kind of add it to that inspirational type privacy wall there, because when we're sitting in the hot tub. And then like I said, we'll have the road there. It should get and fill in this space right here, and you can see it'll soften it up. And then eventually, well, not eventually, but right off the bat, as soon as I plant that, the road, and the two junipers through here, I think I'm just gonna backfill with ajuga. Ajuga's very aggressive. It'll take over this area right here. It'll soften up the edges of both of these stones here. And then I won't feel so bad waiting on, once the junipers and the road gets to where it starts, overtaking that area. If I don't get there quick enough, I'm not going to be upset losing ajuga, because I can transplant it anywhere. Or if I forget about it, it is what it is. It'll be under there. But it'll soften up the edges. I have a space over here with ajuga. You can see it flirts with the edge right there. It's still dormant. It's starting to break out a little bit, but it's still pretty much dormant. But if you can use your imagination for a moment, this will really fill out pretty well. You saw my wife help me put this bridge back. I'm impressed. I challenged her. I said, well, I'll just wait till my son gets home. She's like, we don't have to do that. So kudos to her. Of course, this dry creek area right here, there's the leftover material from this pond project, but right through here is where the water flushes out. So I could not do and manipulate this area too much, because all the homes rush into here, right? I've talked about this extensively because people ask me how I get rid of my water issues, but it'll flow through here. So this had to stay at a certain depth. Now, when the water does gush through here and we have really strong storms, I will do my best to get out here when that happens. But typically our storms come at night, and when this is happening, it's by the time I get out in the morning, it's already kind of settled in. But this should fill up pretty good. It won't peak. It won't come to the top peak like it does over here. It peaks out over on the top there just about, but then it runs underneath that patio landing right there. And then this will fill up pretty good. But I can promise that once the water's a little murky right now, once it settles by tomorrow afternoon, once I get home tomorrow after work, this will look really crystal clear. But ultimately, I threw this little log in here. If you remember in the video yesterday, it was on this side, and it was just in that dry creek area. And if I hadn't mentioned, feel free to go jump in and look at that video from yesterday. It's 10 minutes, not even quite 10 minutes. You've got 10 minutes of your day, right? That'll kind of show you where we've kind of let off. And then, yeah, look at how green. I thought, well, let me pan up here. Look how green that grass is, and then the chicken coop in the backside. We are still looking for chickens everywhere. Everybody wants chickens now. They're selling out like hotcakes, and every time we go to get some chickens in every place in our surrounding communities, everybody's sold out. And then when they get them, there's a long line. Thinking about ordering it, but we do go on a vacation. My wife and I will be celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary, so we're going to be gone for almost 2 weeks. So the longer I get towards that date, which is somewhere in the beginning of April, I'm starting to go, okay, do I want my son to have to take on that burden of taking care of the baby chicks? So we're going to get them. We're going to get them eventually, but hopefully sooner rather than later. Anyway, back to the project. I think ultimately this is going to turn out really well. If you come over here, these junipers, how they just kind of glide over the sides, flirt with the edges, come up here to the top of this deck right here where we come up and feed the fish. But you can see really crystal clear, and that's what it'll do. The water will fill up right here, and it'll peak right through those two rocks, and it'll go over into the next one. And then all of the this is Little Henry Spire, a Japanese maple, Clethra vanilla spice, I believe. Right there, once those things come alive, it softens this whole edge up, and it's not so harsh. But it's good to kind of pull back the covers, and you guys can see it from the way it looks in its dormant stage. So I can tell you that in probably the beginning of next spring, this will just be really, really sharp. We'll go through and we're going to plant up this season. Hopefully by the middle of April, the nurseries will start getting some stuff in, and I can trust enough that I can come out here and start planting. But I will tell you, I'm excited about it. I do need to put on the front-facing board there that came that I removed so we could have leverage to pick up. But ultimately, I think we're rocking and rolling. I think this was a good project, a good 8 hours, probably 7-hour project. But it's in here. It's solid and it's ready to go. So yeah, we will talk to you guys on the flip side. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.